to Unity of Little Rock. I'm Reverend Beverly Pryor, and I sound a little bit loud, maybe. Let's just take a moment and get centered in prayer. Let's just sit and let your chair support you comfortably. I like to uncross my feet and my hands just so that I'm open. Maybe you want to lift your shoulders up and pull them back and drop them down and just open that heart center. And together, let's take a deep breath in and release that breath. The breath connects us mind, body, and spirit. And it connects us in this moment, one with another. We bring our attention to our intention. And we claim this morning, this time together, this mere hour for the highest and best for all concerned. Those of us together in this room, those listening online, anyone who may be listening at a later time. We've all come together both to be a blessing and to receive a blessing. For this truth and so much more, we simply say, thank you, thank you, and thank you. So it is. Come on in. Jeannie's over here. I don't know what's going on with this speaker. It's bzz, bzz. Am I the only one hearing that? No. Every time I speak, it goes bzz. Let me see. Is that better? Yeah, I think so. I think that little adjustment helped, Russ. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so we're glad you're all here today. Let's just say our opening statement together. There's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God, the good, the omnipotent. And you know, we talked a few weeks ago about how God is truly neither good nor bad. There's that neutral source energy, that substance of the universe that we name God. And it's really the way we think and what we expect and what we intend and what we look for. The words that we use, the thoughts, where we put our intention and our attention, that determines our experience. Can be. There are plenty of people that believe in an angry, wrathful God. And that's what they believe and that's their experience. But if we believe in a loving presence, and we believe that we are an expression of that, as our second principle says, then we have that experience. It doesn't mean you'll never have something that feels otherwise, but you know that it's always there. There's always that potential. So we welcome our first timers and our returning visitors, and those of you who haven't been with us for a while. And we've already given you your welcome packet, so we don't need to do that. But thank you. We're glad you're here. We hope you enjoy your time. So, hey Brittany, come on in. Most of you know that Unity was founded on prayer. And someone has been praying at Silent Unity, which is what we call our prayer. It's in a tower. It's not the prayer tower, but it's in the tower actually at Unity Village in Missouri. But someone's been praying there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 130 years. So when you submit a prayer request, whether you do it here or if you do it online, or you can even call them, the numbers are listed here. You can go online to our Unity Little Rock or to unity.org, which is the Unity Worldwide website, and submit a prayer. And that prayer, wherever it's first taken in, here or wherever, it gets immediate prayer. And then after that, it gets sent to Silent Unity, and someone is sitting in vigil. So the associates who pray when you call in aren't there 24/7, but there is someone there who's 24/7 in prayer vigil, and they take shifts. And it's so powerful, and it really amplifies. It's that constructive coherence, right? It's like whenever it comes together, the amplification of the intention. So we'll join now with that energy that we know is present always for anyone who wants to call on that substance, that power, and that presence that we call God. So if you'll close your eyes, if you're comfortable with that, and let's take a deep breath in and release. In this Christ consciousness, in this consciousness of prayer and understanding, we bring whatever it might be, whether it's finances, relationship, well-being, health and wholeness, whatever might be of concern to you or someone you love, and even for the world. We know that there's nothing too great nor too small to bring to the consciousness of the good, the power and the presence that we know as God. So in this moment, we join together and we claim, as our teacher and our way shower Jesus taught us, we claim our good. We claim the good for others. We see in advance the wholeness and the wellness and the truth in every situation, regardless of appearances, regardless of a circumstance. We hold the higher watch of this or something better. And for this truth, for this presence and this power that we can call upon, that we can activate within ourselves, we simply say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen. Thank you for being with me for that prayer. So Miss Jeannie is going to read the daily word for us today. And here's your microphone. There you go.
So the word is appreciation. I woke up this morning to the bright sunshine. Oh, I appreciated that sunshine compared to the yesterday's kind of dark day. And I appreciate this community and the glory in each face. Take a moment. It says, I appreciate the good in my life. Feel some appreciation. Think about what you appreciate. When someone admires my efforts or thanks me for something helpful that I've done, I'm happy to know that I've blessed them. Recognizing how good it feels to be appreciated, I remember to express my gratitude and appreciation to the people who have blessed me. I appreciate my friends and family by nurturing these relationships. I appreciate my community by being a responsible citizen. I appreciate the natural beauty of the world by caring for it and taking time to enjoy it. The people, the places, and the things that I appreciate become more precious to me as I discover that each reflects God's presence and God's activity in a uniquely beautiful way. I am grateful to have so much to appreciate. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. And that's from Romans 12:10. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Appreciation. Take a moment and just look around and make eye contact with somebody and just give them some appreciation. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Yeah, thank you. It feels good to do that. We forget sometimes just to make an eye contact and really let somebody know that you see them. You know, I just got chills when I said see them. It's like, it's a real deal. Okay, and to continue on with this thought of appreciation, Rev Russ wants to bring some things forward from his heart because it's volunteer appreciation work. We do appreciate your work. The whole week, right?
Yes, it's week long from the 21st to the 27th. It's National Volunteer Appreciation Week.
National.
So we're going to bring it from the national right down here to the very personal with all of y'all. Because our volunteers, you know, sometimes I hear and sometimes Russ thinks that volunteering is just doing a task. There's something that needs to be accomplished, let's do this task. But volunteering is about how you bring your light, your love, your brilliance, your magnificence to the rest of us. And reminding us to let our light and our brilliance and our magnificence shine. So our volunteers are really our way showers in that way, in that sense. And we want to say thank you. Thank you that you do those tasks that need to be done around here. But thank you because you're willing to step up and be that great example for us. So with that, I'm going to do two things today, but here to start with, I'm just going to give you a small token of our appreciation. But hopefully you may wear it and just remember that there are people in the world that love you and value you and that care that you show up and be you in this community. So it says, in sacred service, you are the bearer of the light. Thank you for letting your wings soar. And on it is a very small little dove. So thank you for letting your wings soar. And the first one I'm going to give to is Miss Angel.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Thank you, Angel.
The second I'm going to give is to Mr. Chris back here.
For the oneness blessing.
Yes, for the oneness blessing. And I mean, I'm not going to
Attempt to
tell you what you're volunteering for because I know I'll leave out some things just because that's the way my brain doesn't work. So that's why I'm skipping that. But I'm also going to give one to Miss Jeannie, who I'm going to take this opportunity though to announce that she has resigned as our church administrator and has now officially taken a role as a board of trustees and as our secretary on the board of trustees.
So she'll still be here doing everything.
So she'll still be doing all the same work she's been doing.
No, I'm happy to serve. You know me, I'm happy to serve y'all.
And the next I'm giving is to Red Bev.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Because we forget sometimes that our board of trustees are all volunteers too, as well as your two ministers here are volunteering for you. So we want to acknowledge that and say thank you.
Well, thank you.
Next I'm going to give is to Mr. Roger back there.
Oh, yeah.
This is for volunteering, Roger, since you just come in. Because I've been in closets with you as we dug out things, cleaned it up. Miss Brittany, one for you. And with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you. This doesn't come close to touching the appreciation we have for you that show up and do for this community. And at the end of the day, we're gonna take an example out of a community that I go play with, and some of us, the rest of us have, the Conscious Awareness Network. But at the end of the day, I'm going to draw names for all the volunteers that I just handed out a wonderful dove for, and you'll get some parting gifts. So we'll do that drawing as we end the day. But thank you. More to come. More to come. Yes.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
And of course, Travis, on a rare occasion, is not here today, but he always provides us yummy snacks and does some of the, well, we're not listing the things. Anyway, you all know that all the things, there's all kinds of things that people do, and that's what a community is. We're here to show up and to help and to get things done, not just to ask what can be done, but what can I do, right? So tomorrow is Earth Day, and I know looking around the room, you're probably already honoring the earth in many, many ways, but we really wanted to bring a focus today, and you might have noticed some of the images that I've put on the screen and the songs. When we talk about oneness, we're not just talking about oneness with other human beings. We're talking about oneness with Mother Earth. We're talking about oneness with the creatures of Mother Earth. We're talking about oneness with the air and the cosmos. Oneness is everything that we are, and it's important that we remember that we're a part of that. Just like we have many cells in our body, we are all part of this giant organism called the universe. And we don't even know how big it is. You know, we think we have an idea. So they listed on the Earth Day celebration just some things, but I wanted to honor Russ for some things he's done recently. He repaired a leaky faucet outside, in the past couple of days, put his own labor into that, and he bought, I think you paid yourself for the LED lights to switch us out and make us more, we are definitely gone paperless on our bills and things like that. But these are all things that I'm sure you probably are not going to just throw your plastic bottles in the garbage, and I've always got canvas bags in my car to go shopping, and sometimes I forget. But when I do get plastic, then I take it to Kroger, and then they recycle it. And I bought some shoes the other day that were recycled. You know, they look like leather tennis shoes, but they're recycled plastic. But I was so proud of that, and they kept my feet warm on the lake yesterday when I was on the racing committee. So you compost, that's a little more complicated, but we can all try it and get a coach, find out how to do it. It's easy. Betty can help you with that. So anyway, we just want to bring that consciousness of that oneness with Mother Earth, and thinking all the time about what can we do to make our world a better place for us to exist in and for us to coexist in. And I wanted to bring to your attention that Unity actually has an Earth Care curriculum. And that's something that maybe we'll talk about engaging with as a community, because it aligns with the 12 powers, which you see a couple of them on the wall here, faith and will, and there's strength and love and understanding and discernment and all those things. But it's a 12-month curriculum that helps us to become more and more aware of that oneness with the earth and being present. So with that, we will begin our time of meditation. We'll listen to a song. This is Children of This Universe by Faith Rivera. After the song, we'll do a meditation. Then we'll listen to another song. Okay? So if you'll just get your posture however is comfortable for you. I like to sit with my back straight. Most of these chairs are really good with straight backs. If you like to lift your shoulders and drop them back, let your spine be straight. Just imagine from the tailbone up through the crown of the head, a little string pulling you straight. Maybe uncross your hands and feet. I like both feet on the floor because it helps to ground. So together, let's take a deep breath in and release. And just let the words be taken in.
I am a child of this universe. The ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. I am kissed by mother. I am a child of this universe. The sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have a light for me in the sky. I am honored by her light. I am held by Father Time. Every blade of grass, every shaking leaf on the tree, every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through me, through you. Oh. I am a child of this universe. My breath all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I can love and return. Give a kiss to Mother Earth. Yes, I am a child of this universe. I breathe the God in each face. I am a channel for peace to flow. Oh, on the night. Yes, I'm loved with Father Time. To every blade of grass, to every shaking leaf on the tree, to every mountain top, I sing of the glory of God moving through
So together, let's take another deep breath in and release that breath. Just settling into your own rhythm of breathing, knowing that we're connected by breath. The breathing in and the breathing out synchronizes us in this moment. Bring your attention to your breath as it moves in and out of your nostrils. Notice between the breathing in and the breathing out, there's an ever so slight little gap. No longer breathing in, no longer breathing out. Not holding your breath, just a little gap of transition. Now with your attention and your intention, follow that breath as it moves deep within, deeper and deeper, to the very center of your being. Your secret place of the Most High. In this place within you, you know the truth of your being. You know that you are, in fact, an expression of all. An expression of that divinity, that divine nature we call God. In this truth, allow a moment to expand your awareness. Expand it to the others in this room and to the trees around us, to each blade of grass, and the tree and the mice in the field. To the fish in the water in the little pond behind us. Allow yourself to feel and experience that oneness. In this awareness is true communication, true depth of understanding, true presence of all there is. Rest in this presence in a moment of silence.
Fiery red
Let's take a deep breath in and release. Bring your attention back to this moment and this time. Fully present and fully aware of our divine connection with all that is. I know that second song was a little bit more lively than we normally have after meditation, but that's okay. Sometimes we're getting a message and just enjoying the aliveness of nature. So our theme for the month is Into the Light. And we have a theme, but we don't actually coordinate our talks, although we build on our previous talks. But today, that's Nature of Light is my topic because of Earth Day. And so we've talked about the yin and yang symbol since Easter. We introduced that for those of you who weren't here and didn't pay attention online yet. Notice how I said yet. The yin and yang symbol is a perfect Easter symbol, in my opinion, because of the dark and the light. And we have the crucifixion and the resurrection. Dark and light is present all the time. And last week I brought to your attention that the light is in the dark and the dark is in the light. So we might be focusing, and this is something we tend to do in Unity, we tend to focus on the positive. And it can be a little annoying sometimes, especially when we're struggling, we're having a hard time. But it's important when we are having those up times to know that there can be a little bit of dark in every light moment. We might be having a great peak experience, and then there's still a little struggle. There's somebody, maybe someone who's not happy for us, that we're having a great experience. That could be considered a little bit of a dark in your light. But the important thing with darkness is to have compassion for that dark. Not to think, reject it, it's bad, whatever. Also, when we're having dark moments, dark moments come into our life to help us learn surrender. And if we don't learn surrender, we're really not going to learn anything, because life is meant to evolve and change. But in that darkness, there's always that little speck of light. And that's when we want to keep our attention on what there is, with the possibilities of good in every situation. So it's the balance of the dark and the light, and also the understanding of that balance within each of those. Last week I reintroduced you, because it's not the first time I brought your attention to the Unalom. And the Unalom is a figure, sacred symbol. It's been used in Buddhism and Hinduism. But what I love about it is the spiral, right? That's Celtic, the spiral's in every sacred symbology. But it's the generation, sometimes considered regeneration, that new. Could be a new thought, a new idea, a new understanding. And then the switchbacks represent how we apply it. We begin to make it part of our consciousness, and then the straight line at the top is when we get it, right? And sometimes people put a lotus flower at the top as if, oh, you've become enlightened once you get it. But the reality is, the reason it's called the entire philosophy of human existence is, once you get that idea, you start back down here, right? Then you have to get a new understanding. Have you ever worked on forgiveness and you thought, oh, I put that away, and then a little bit more it comes up? So it gives you an opportunity to go a little deeper in the understanding of what it truly means to forgive, and then you begin to apply that. Everything in life is that way. We learn something, we apply it, then we get to learn it a little bit better. And I like to say, and when you begin to teach it, then you really learn it even more so. Because anytime you have an intention to share something or teach something, I see Rev Russ back there smiling, it's going to be presented to you in life so that you will get it and get it again, and also so you'll have examples to share with other people. Which sometimes some people find that annoying, but I like to share from my own personal experience, because I don't want people to think I'm up here telling you all the things that can be done, or you should. I don't like to should on people, but I like to share when I've had to go through struggles, when I've learned something and how I've learned it and how I've applied it. So the metaphysical meaning of light that we talked about, the illumination of spirit, resident, meaning housed, in the center of every man's being. Not just Jesus, not just Buddha, not just Yogananda, not just those people who exemplify it. It's there within all of us. And for some of us, we don't want to really identify with it because we think that's going to make us look a certain way or have to be a certain way. I remember here's a personal story for you. When I was 12 and I was baptized into the Baptist church, and then they had the Lottie Moon Christmas offering time, and I loved Lottie Moon. I loved all the stories about her and her family, and I just wanted to go into Africa and be a missionary. But then as I turned 12, I was allowed to start growing my fingernails a little bit. And I was allowed to start thinking about, at some point, I could wear mascara, or I could get an ear piercing when I was 16. And I thought, well, I can't have those girly experiences if I go into the jungle. This is a real experience, right? My heart was calling me to be of service, to do something. And that was like my limited view of how I could show up in that way. But even though those are our limited, because we're human, and if we haven't read it, now we have the internet, right? This was decades ago. We didn't have the internet where you could see all the possibilities of what people are experiencing. But we still have a limitation because we're in this three-dimensional human experience. So we have limits on what we can imagine is even possible for us. But the light is there to keep calling us, to keep saying, your heart wants to be of service in some way, somehow. And you'll find that. And, eventually you do. So that's the first principle, is God is, right? Absolute good, all, everywhere. The second principle of unity is we are all of us, and everything is. Everything is an expression of God. A rattlesnake is an expression of God. The rattlesnake is. Everything in life serves a purpose and is an expression of God in its own unique way. There's nothing that's truly bad, right? There's nothing, was it Shakespeare that said there's nothing bad or good except our thinking makes it so? We decide what's good and what's bad. Now, we have some things in society that help us with that. We have laws, we have regulations, we have, in a lot of churches, a lot of do's and don'ts and rights and wrongs. Someone asked me the other day, did we have the 12 disciplines? And I'm like, no, we have 5 principles. We don't have 12 disciplines. But we have 12 powers. I didn't think to say that. We do talk about 12 spiritual gifts that we identify with, which might align. I don't know. I didn't think of it in the conversation. So I didn't find out what the 12 disciplines were because it was very casual. But we all have ways in which we try to make sense, and we try to help one another make sense of something that you just can't talk about. There's no way. That's why the Native Americans call it the Great Mystery. And Lao Tzu wrote in the Tao Te Ching, that which you can name the Tao is no longer the Tao. Because once you put a name on it, we say G-O-D, but then that's still charged with whatever someone's perception is. But the fact is that illumination of spirit is light, and it's all within all of us, all the time. Pierre Desjardins is famously quoted as saying, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, but we're equally both, right? The Bible says we're fully human and fully divine. We are both of those things. We're yin and yang. We are all of it. We're not just one or the other. And even, we've seen so many times how people who are put on a pedestal as being so perfect, holy, whatever, we find out that maybe not so much. They've got some things going on that they hid in a closet. They hid from the world and probably hid from themselves. But when we can accept that we also have darkness, right? Have you ever said a mean thing to anybody, ever? Have you ever criticized anybody, ever? Have you ever been resentful, ever? We all have those aspects of our personality. We're not here to say they're bad. When we can have compassion for it, when we reject it, we give it power, right? When we have compassion, we are fully human. We live in this 3D world. We don't always understand everything from our 5 senses. That's why that fully divine is the perfect balance, because we do understand things when we go beyond what we see with our 5 senses. So this is a symbol of, anybody familiar with HeartMath Institute? So they do, so they do this thing called heart-head coherence, right? So your head is all the mental processing, and it's really attached with your reptilian brain, and your mind is often focused on survival, and your mind is analyzing very much in the 5 senses. Your heart, however, goes beyond the 5 senses. And so their whole focus, and they teach heart-head coherence, they are studying the earth, the electromagnetic field of the entire earth. They have these giant coherence measuring machines all around the world. They can predict things based on it. They can look back at natural events and see how even before the event happened there was a shift. It's just amazing. But see, we are electromagnetic fields in and of ourselves. And then together we're an electromagnetic field, and then we live in an electromagnetic field. I mean, that is the divine part, right? That connectedness. But heart-head coherence is about that intersection. When you do a HeartMath exercise, you create something with your 5 senses in this 3D world, but then you move it into your heart with gratitude, and you allow it to become. It's really a beautiful process. But I wanted to show you here this intersection. Now, those of you who know about Venn diagram, it's a concept of, where you have that crossover, right? Here's your world, here's my world, and here's where we intersect. But the beauty of this is actually an ancient symbol. The mandorla is called the seed of life. And it came out of ancient times. And I'm just going to read so I don't misquote this. Mandorla means almond in Italian. And since the almond was the first fruit tree to flower in the Mediterranean, its symbolism has been associated with new beginnings. So see, you have this fully human, fully divine, but that intersection is a new beginning. It's a seed of something that didn't exist until you put your focus on that intersection of fully human, fully divine. The mandorla represents the balanced union of opposing energies such as light and dark, hot and cold, wet and dry, and so on. Sounds kind of like yin and yang, doesn't it? But here, I've got something even more amazing to show you. So this seed in the middle, right? The almond shape, it's like represented here by 2 triangles. So last week when I was talking about light and dark, Betty brought up the idea of when you plant a seed, because are you a master gardener, I think? That's right, she's a master gardener. Lifetime master gardener. So we've all kind of heard this analogy before, but she was talking about how when you have a seed and you put it in the ground it's dark, right? There is no light. It takes a certain amount of germination time. Some water, yes, there's light out here, but it's not underneath the soil. But that darkness is required for the process of germination. It doesn't just happen if you throw the seeds on top because you think, well, the seeds need light, gotta be in the light all the time. If you're in the light all the time, what happens? The seeds are parched, they're dry, they're ruined. So you can't force a seed. You also can't dig it up and look for a plant, right? You can't dig it up and look for an ear of corn. So you have to allow for that dark time. It's just like, the last year we've talked about a lot of times how my house was hit by the tornado, and my word last year was home, and then my house in March was hit by tornado. But that's not about the house, right? It's home is in here. And that drove that lesson in, and they have started working on it, by the way. But that time of understanding, if I hadn't spent this year being displaced and not feeling that I'm a nester. I like my house. I'm an introverted empath. I like a nest. I love my bed, all those things of comfort. But it's not there that I find my peace, right? I don't need my Tempur-Pedic. So eventually we get that little sprout of an idea, from that germination, something begins. Something moves towards the light to give us an inkling. Have you ever had a creative process where you felt like, I can't quite get the right words, I can't get the right colors, I don't have the design that I'm feeling exists, but I can't get it to express on my canvas? That's a little inkling when you just take that first little swipe of color. It might not be what you end up with at all. I did this huge painting years ago. I was meditating on the divine feminine of the which Buddhist, anyway, Tara. And there's like 33 emanations, and I was reading and meditating, and I just go put paint on this big canvas. And I love that painting. Now most people look at it and they go, oh. But you know what? I love it. And where I started, you can't even see. I can see because my mind remembers. But that process, whatever it is, even if it's a healing process, you might be in the darkness of it right now, which looks like something that somebody's named and put a label on. But if you never have that seed of belief, you don't have that little seed of faith. Jesus said, the faith of a mustard seed, right? If you just have and mustard seeds, have you seen them? They're little bitty tiny like a pinhead. That's all it takes to move a mountain from here to there. That's what he told the disciples. That's all it takes, belief. So from this, a little bit of sprout will come, and then eventually you'll see more. And so in that same, when he was teaching in parables, in Matthew 13, 31 and 32, he put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven, which is within, as we know, is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in the field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air can come and make their nest in it. So from that little tiny thing, you can't even imagine. Have you ever heard someone talk about when they started something and they have a passion project? Well, I didn't really think it was going anywhere. And then all of a sudden they have this giant organization that serves so many people. It's that little seed of an idea, but it's not about efforting to make it happen. It's about allowing that time to unfold when it comes forth. So look at this. When you have the mandorla, and you have the seed, when you continue to add your circles, what does it become? It becomes the flower of life. So the seed of life, just all it takes is two, and then that coherence amplifies it, right? And it becomes the flower of life. It manifests. which is a word that's overused now and in a very, often very casual and, I don't want to say misunderstood, but often without depth, right? Believe and achieve and all those little phrases. But it's deeper than that. It's about understanding that all things work together for good. And the flower of life is represented everywhere. In nature, everywhere you look around. And I know when you leave here today, as you continue throughout your day, you'll start seeing the same sacred symbology. It's just calling to us all the time to take that little seed and allow it to become. Allow ourselves to become, because we limit ourselves. We might think of ourselves from the seed to the shrub, but then we don't really think of ourselves as becoming the mighty tree. But you know what? God does. That substance and that presence in the universe, that's all there is, already knows. So I superimposed the Unalome with the seed of life. You have that divine idea, apply it for a while, it becomes the flower of life. It's the creative process. It unfolds. We talked about creative process last week with Genesis. But so I kind of did what I criticized earlier by putting these symbols on top of this symbol. But I love symbols because they say so much in so little. So I'm going to read a poem for you in closing today. My favorite mystical poet, Shalane Harkin. So our responsibility to allow that seed to grow within us, you know, when we deny it, when we repress it, we become frustrated. We're not living our authentic self. And I think more and more now, younger people are encouraged to do the things they love as opposed to the things that will make the buck. You know, I know when I first started out in school, in college, I was in art school, and my professor liked everything I did, but I had no finesse, right? So we would present our art to each other, and people would go, "This is the da da da," and the representing the da, and I would just kind of go, "Okay, where'd they get that?" Because that wasn't how it was going to come from me. I said, "Well, you gave us the instruction to do this," and then I did it. That's kind of all I had, because that wasn't my consciousness, that wasn't my awareness. He liked what my products were. He liked how I worked, I expressed the art, but he said, "What do you want to do when you get out of school with an art degree from the U of A at Fayetteville?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he was like, "You better figure it out, or you're going to make $6 an hour doing paste up at the newspaper." And I was like, oh. Well, at that time, $6 an hour was twice minimum wage, but it still didn't sound good for a college degree. So I left art for that reason. See, that little thing that was said, and I think if I had had more confidence to ask more questions, he might have actually helped me. He would have helped me understand where he's coming from. But those little seeds of doubt, or that little seed of inspiration, right? My inspiration was to do art, but I let the seed of doubt grow before I let my inspiration grow. So from this, let's think about allowing those seeds of inspiration, whatever it is for you. If you want to write a book, if you want to do some volunteering, if you want to share from yourself, you want to teach a class. So this poem is called "Blooming is Contagious." And just think of yourself as that seed and that potential bloom. Blooming is contagious. The whole hillside gets infected, come the colorful pandemic of spring. It goes around quick. Some ringleader gets the wild idea to risk everything it's known for the sake of unforeseen color, that a wild tenderness might emerge. And the ecstatic message of the flowers, openness, says, not yet. Not yet. To the unopened buds. Openness says, for the not yet open buds, it's in you too. Oh, cozy up to people like this who make you think. There might be something exquisitely wonderful inside of me that's susceptible to sunshine, and damn it, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to figure out what. There might be something. There might be something. So, the weekly practice I'm assigning you, should you choose to accept it, is to seed yourself. To just give yourself that little opportunity for inspiration. And we do that by getting quiet, by allowing. But this time, let's cultivate it a little bit, right? Let's lean into whatever that might be and allow that first bloom. The first bloom may not be the biggest bloom. It might be just a little inkling of something within you that wants to be expressed. But allow for that. Thank you for being here today and participating